This is gonna be a long video. Alright, welcome everyone to the 2020 NHL Free Agency review. This is part number 1. There will be definitely more than 2 parts. There will likely be a third part. But today we're going to be reviewing every single signing from day 1 of free agency. And tomorrow we will be reviewing day 2. Don't worry, we will be reviewing every single day from now on. Okay? So here we go. There was a total of 78 signings yesterday. And there was about 140 something years of contracts sent out to everyone, and I want to say about $300 million from the reports that I was seeing from people. So I think that last year was a big day for a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams got better. A lot of teams, I wonder why they signed that one player or made an offer to that player that was a bit outrageous. But we're gonna get into it. First off, the Toronto Maple Leafs signed Wayne Simmonds to a 1-year contract. It's a one-way deal, $1.5 million in cap space. Wayne Simmonds is a right winger. Scored 8 goals for 25 points this season. And I think that Toronto, they need some offensive. They need some decent third line offense. And I think that Wayne Simmonds adds to that. And yesterday, Simmonds said that he said that if the players were getting picked on, or getting fought around by other players on the opposing team, Simmonds would step in. So he's basically just playing the enforcer role, and I think that's something Toronto needs because Toronto gets pushed around a lot. Just gonna say that. These next 2 are re-signings because they just have to re-sign them instead of not signing them. The Chicago Blackhawks signed Dominik Kubalik to a 2-year contract worth $3.7 million. It's a one-way deal. Kubalik's the left wing, scored 30 goals, 46 points. I think Kubalik is one of those players that's really leading this team is really leading this team currently. And I think that, with him, it's basically him, Kane. I guess you could throw DeBrincat in. Well, yeah, you can. Him, Kane, and DeBrincat. And there's really, it's really uncertain who's next. So, it's a good signing for Chicago. They need that offense. They need that good young rookie because he actually is fairly young. And Chicago also signed yesterday Malcolm Subban to basically the same deal. 2-year contract, $850K. It's one way. He's a goaltender, of course, coming from the Vegas Golden Knights. He had 9 wins and 7 losses last season combined with the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks, so I just thought I'd throw that in there. And, that's solid statistics. I think Subban, that Chicago needs to kind of get a goaltender, and I think that, this plays a part in it a bit. And I think that, they need to go out and hunt for someone. So I think Subban may be playing that starter role next season. I'm going to say that right now. So, it's a hot take, but, you can just leave it there. The Detroit Red Wings signed Bobby Ryan to a 1-year contract worth $1 million. So he's getting $1 million in a year. That's actually pretty interesting compared to a lot of 1-year deals that we have here. And there is a lot, by the way. This one was one way. Bobby Ryan is a left wing / right wing. He can play both positions. He scored 5 goals for 8 points this season. It's really a surprise that he didn't get a lot because, he was in alcohol rehab and all that stuff. And the way he came back and the way he got bought out, a lot of people were super disappointed that the Sens bought Bobby Ryan out. And, it's the right and the wrong move. I said it was right and the wrong move at the time. But I still think that, despite this, I still think that it's going to be a good move for Detroit. I think that Detroit, they need that. It's the Masterton winner. You can throw him in there. He's a solid offensive player, and he's going to be healthy next season. Don't underestimate Bobby Ryan next season. He's going to be healthy. So I think that, with him, he's going to help out the Detroit offense, which desperately needed help. Here are 2 signings that actually kind of surprised me. Luke Shen signed with the Tampa Bay Lightning for a 1-year contract worth $800,000. It's a one-way deal. Luke Shen's a defenseman. He had 1 goal for 2 points in this season. That's regular season, by the way. Now, where he's really improved was in the playoffs. I saw Shen, I heard Shen's name a lot in the playoffs. Great defenseman. I think that, this is a good signing for Tampa Bay. I think this will help him out. And then Tampa also signed Pat Maroon to a 2-year deal, which is he's a left wing / right wing. And this season he had 9 goals for 23 points. The contract is one way, $900,000. I think that's a good signing. Patty Maroon brings that physicality and the somewhat offense and also the veteran presence, which doesn't really mean much anymore. I say that a ton with all these veterans, but The Vancouver Canucks re-signed Tyler Mott to a 2-year contract worth $1.22 million. It's a one-way deal. Mott is a left wing / center, so you can play both. He can be your good second line left wing or second line center. And he scored 4 goals for 8 points this season. I mean, he's still kind of developing himself. So I think that, this is a good deal for Vancouver. The Florida Panthers signed Radko Gudas to a 3-year deal. This was bold by Florida, to be honest with you. It was worth that's supposed to be $2.5 million. No way, it's $25 million. $2.5 million. It's a one-way contract. There's very few two-way contracts throughout the whole free agency. And he was a defenseman this season. He had 2 goals for 15 points. Kind of one of those. I kind of forgot he was in the league. I was like, oh boy, I forgot he was in the league, which is kind of funny. And I mean, Gudas also brings that physicality to the Florida Panthers, and he brings that good defense. So I think that that'll play a role in Florida. So yeah, best of luck to Gudas because former Flyer. The Detroit Red Wings signed John Morello to a 1-year, $925,000 contract. It's one way, by the way. Morello is a defenseman. He scored 2 goals for 7 points this season. You need a solid defenseman. I think that he's a solid third line pairing defenseman. And he's not exactly the best as he was. The Panthers were really busy. You'll notice that as we move along here. The Panthers signed Connor Verhaeghe to a 2-year contract. He's a center / a left wing. He scored 9 goals for 13 points this season. He really proved himself in the playoffs. I think a lot of Lightning players did in the playoffs. So, I think that Verhaeghe, the signing in Florida, I think that's a good deal for Florida. I think that Florida can build off of Radko Gudas and Verhaeghe. Here's a big one. The Washington Capitals have signed goaltender Henrik Lundqvist to a 1-year deal worth $1.5 million. Is one way. Lundqvist this season had 10 wins and 12 losses, and you can't exactly blame him because on the first half where he was playing quite a bit of games, the Rangers were not that good. So I'm just going to throw that in there. And I think that, this is Lundqvist's last shot at the cup. And I don't think anybody will disagree with me here, to be honest with you. I think that, with Lundqvist, everything that's going on with him, I think this is his last shot at the cup. To be completely honest with you. So I think that, you move into this, I think that Lundqvist, even though the cup window is closed for Washington, it's definitely closed. They're still contenders. You can notice, if you look at their points from the year they won the Stanley Cup to now, their points in the regular season have degraded so quickly that I'm surprised they're still first in their division. And, this season they were 1 point ahead of Philadelphia for first place. So, you can just leave it at that. But I think that, their cup window's closed, but they're not exactly. They can make a run. So, we'll see what Lundqvist can do in Washington. The Edmonton Oilers signed Kyle Turris to a 2-year contract worth $1.65 million. It's a one-way deal, once again. Turris is a center, good, solid third-line center, something Edmonton definitely needs. 9 goals, 31 points. He's one of those guys, he can back up McDavid and Draisaitl on those 1-2 centers. And I think that, you put Turris on that third line, I think that you have a solid center core. So I think that that's a great signing for Edmonton. That was a steal. The Minnesota Wild. This is why I'm wearing the Wild jersey, because this is kind of just this is a bit of a surprising signing. So Cam Talbot has signed a 3-year deal with the Minnesota Wild worth $3.6 million. One-way contract, of course. Cam Talbot had 12 wins for 11 losses this season, as he is a goaltender. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have offered Cam Talbot a contract. I think this is, this is all about Minnesota, but not a 3-year contract, and not the. Well, actually, no. Maybe the 3 years is fine. Not the amount of money they paid him. $3.6 million. That's not good. And I think that I think that I would want to have a Stalock and Kapanen and a Stalock and Kapanen tandem. To be honest, I think Kaapo Kakkonen can prove himself as a decent backup for the Minnesota Wild. But Cam Talbot's just in there as a backup like he was in Calgary. I think that's what he is at this point. I think his days as a starter back in Edmonton are over. I hate to say it. I think those days are over. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm sure there's some Wild fans that are going to be pretty mad about that. And the funny thing is, too, their GM, Bill Guerin came out. They signed Talbot and a few AHL minor players. And then he said, "Yup, we're done with free agency. That's it. Peace out. we are done with free agency. I'm like, are you stupid? What? Like, I mean, there's so many people out there. Honestly, I wouldn't have offered Cam Talbot a $3.6 million contract. I would have offered him less, if anything. To be honest with you, if I was a Wild GM, I wouldn't offer Talbot anything. But if I would have offered him a lot less. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. The New York Rangers, who were surprisingly busy in this free agency on day one. They had at least 5 signings. I'm like, what the heck? Why are they signing so many people? They have a great team right now. But they do need some pieces to just improve the lineup. The Rangers signed Kevin Rooney to a 2-year contract worth $750,000, and it's a one-way contract. Kevin Rooney's a right wing / center. He has four goals for 9 points and a solid fourth line player, basically. Here's another big one. big one here. The Vancouver Knox has signed Braden Holtby to a 2-year contract, and that's funny. It's funny because we were hearing a tons of rumors of where Jacob Markstrom would be going to Calgary or Edmonton, and Braden Holtby will be going to the one team that didn't get Markstrom. And I thought that would have been insane. A Markstrom versus Holtby Battle of Alberta. I would have watched every single game of the Battle of Alberta until one of those goaltenders leaves. Because those 2 goalies are my favorite goaltenders of all time. Period. You can't tell me anything else. So, Braden Holtby signed a 2-year contract worth $4.3 million. It's a one-way deal. Braden Holtby has 25 wins for 14 losses. On paper, he doesn't look too bad. I've said this for a lot of goaltenders. Matt Murray's one of them. And, on paper, he doesn't look horrible, Braden Holtby, but, on paper, you've seen some really bad he's letting some bad goals. And then his team kind of helped him out. So, I think it's a good signing for Vancouver, though. It doesn't replace Markstrom, but I think Demko will step in there. So, don't worry, Vancouver. You're not going to lose. The Minnesota Wild signed Jason Kramer's son. I might have said that wrong. I'm sorry. He's a center to a 1-year contract at $700K. One-way deal. This season, he had 5 goals for 12 points. Basically that AHL player. I think he played for the Rockford Ice Hogs, which is the Blackhawks affiliate. So, take off what you will. The Edmonton Oilers signed Anton Forsberg to a undisclosed contract. So, what they really did was that they said that they said it was I think a 1-year contract, and then they said that it was undisclosed. I'm like, why? And it was really odd. But yeah, we don't have anything on the way or the amount. So yeah, Anton Forsberg with the Carolina Hurricanes this season had 3 wins, 1 loss. He came in at the time where both goalies were injured. You needed that guy to step in, and David Ayers basically. So and I think Forsberg. Is it really the right replacement for Evans? Now, I know they signed Mike Smith today. I will review that later, but that kind of, it's not, I don't know why they would do that. So, but take it what you will. The Rangers, once again, the Rangers signed, Colin Blackwell to a 2-year contract, worth $725K one way. Blackwood had 3 goals for 7 points this season, so another solid fourth line NHL player. Fourth line NHL player, AHL player, basically. So, the Rangers also signed Keith Kinkade to a 2-year contract. Don't know why they did this. You have Shesterkin and Georgiev. I guess you need a third goaltender, but, what? I don't know what he said. He had 1 win and 1 loss this season with the Montreal Canadiens. Take it what you will, they maybe need a third goaltender. I think that, Kinkade is a decent replacement to that. And then next up here, we have the Ottawa Senators. They re-signed Matt Murray, who they acquired just a few days ago on Wednesday. I can't remember. Yeah, Wednesday. And to a 4-year contract, $6.25 million. It's a one-way deal. He had 20 wins and 11 losses. Again, on paper, he looks good, but off paper, he's bad. He's had bad stretches. So, And I think it does help out Ottawa because you're not gonna run a Nilsson Hogberg tandem. I think that Hogberg, he's growing into that with solid goaltender. Nilsson, he's not gonna lead this team. I think that bringing in Matt Murray for 4 years is gonna help with this team. But it does. But they have a lot of cap space, so they can do lofty contracts like $6.5 million basically. So take it what you will. Then the Dallas Stars re-signed Anton Khudobin. No, excuse me. This is one thing that makes me mad. So Khudobin was a UFA. Okay, Kudobin was a UFA, and we got all this hype about him, and this isn't just with Kudobin. It's with a lot of players. It happened with Anders Lee last year. It happened with Steven Stamkos in 2016. The annoying thing is, it's like when a player doesn't re-sign with the team they were on in the re-sign phase. You get like, okay, maybe, and then your team, let's say, maybe I like the Vancouver Canucks, and they're starting to speculate for Anton Kudobin, which I think they were actually, and I see that Anton Kudobin's not getting re-signed by Dallas, and I think to myself, I'm like, oh boy, could we get Kudobin? I mean, we're speculating for him. Maybe we could sign him, and then he ends up just signing a 3-year contract with Dallas. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I hate when that happens. Like, you get so overhyped about a player maybe going to your team or even another team, and that doesn't even go well. I'm like, oh my god, really? So yeah, anyways. They signed Anton Kudobin to a 3-year contract worth $3.5 million. It's a one-way deal. He had 16 wins and 8 losses this season. And the playoffs was when he was really good. The playoffs, he was absolutely unstoppable. And I think that, you look at all the games that he played, you can't disagree. So, the New York Rangers signed Anthony Greco, probably said that really wrong, to a 2-year deal worth $737,500. It was a one-way contract. This season, he had 10 goals for 22 assists, and he's also a right wing, by the way. Thought I'd throw that in there. And, just a solid third, fourth line AHL player, all that good stuff. And then finally, for part 1, we'll be doing part 2, and then more than likely a part 3. The Calgary Flames signed Alex Petrovic to a 1-year contract. He's a defenseman. Scored 2 goals for 20 points this season, one way, $700,000. Good signing. Petrovic, he brings in that presence for Calgary. Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this video. This is a bit of a long video, so expect the next one to be as long. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, do me sure to like and subscribe on. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers by the end of the year. We're getting there. We're going on the road there. We're almost a quarter of the way there. So yeah, we're grinding. We're gonna get it done. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll constant support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.